I call this meeting of the Board of Selectmen, May 20th, 2019 to order. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. First item we have is the approval of the minutes of the April 22nd, 2019 special meeting.
Madam Chair.
Yes.
I move that we approve the meeting minutes of April 22nd, 2019.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor? Motion carries in the affirmative. Okay, it's our annual election of officers that it's held right after the election. And Andy Dowd, our town clerk, will actually chair the meeting at that point.
Good evening.
Good evening.
As you mentioned, every year after the town election, the board has an opportunity to reorganize the officers of the board, so I'm here to conduct that process. So at this point, I would just ask for nominations for chair of the board for the coming year.
Mr. Town Clerk, I nominate Jason Peralt as chair.
Okay, nomination
Second.
Jason, made and seconded, thank you. Any other nominations for chair? Hearing none, I'll close the nominations for chair. All those in favor of Jason for chair? It's unanimous. Congratulations. And moving on to vice chair, do I have a nomination for vice chair of the board?
Mr. Town Clerk, I nominate Don Rand as vice chair.
Okay.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Any other nominations for vice chair? Hearing none, I'll close those nominations. All those in favor of Don for vice chair? Again, unanimous. Congratulations. And last but not least, the clerk of the board for the coming year. Do I have a nomination for that position? Leslie?
Mr. Town Clerk, I nominate Tim Kalin for clerk.
Okay.
Second.
Nomination made and seconded. Do I have any other nominations for clerk? Hearing none, close those nominations. All those in favor of Mr. Kalin for clerk? Unanimous? I was nervous for a minute.
Think about it for a second. Is there somebody more
You
qualified?
can vote for yourself. Congratulations to all, and just wanted to take if I could indulge the soon-to-be almost no longer chair.
Outgoing.
You're still chair at the moment. Just a quick comment on the town election. First of all, congratulations to Leslie on your re-election.
Thank you.
And also, I just wanted to thank the board for voting to change the voting precincts to Melican. That worked out very well. We had a lot of good feedback from people, and it went better than I could have expected. So thank you for doing that. I think it was the right decision, and looking forward to next year's events at the new location. So thank you.
Thank you for all your efforts.
You're welcome.
Okay. I'm going to switch chairs.
Musical chairs.
Musical chairs. Here we go.
It takes me 10 minutes to get set up here.
Mr. Chair.
So,
Yeah.
sorry. Oh, I did take them, you're right.
Yeah.
Okay, very good. I'd just like to thank Dawn and Leslie for their service in officer positions over the past year. It was a very smoothly running year, and I appreciate all the work done by all members of the board. So, thank you. It's now past the hour of 7 p.m. We have a public hearing to consider a request from Juniper Hill Golf Course, Inc. to change the category of its Chapter 138, Section 112 license from existing wine, malt, cordials, and liquors to all alcoholic beverages for premises located at 169 Brigham. However, am I mistaken? This particular item, we're looking to, it's been withdrawn, right?
Yes.
This item's been withdrawn, okay. Is there any need to address this?
No,
Okay, we just have.
but he's up on
But you're,
next as
right.
well.
Please have a seat, Mr.
Preemptively getting him seated.
I don't get off that easily.
Yeah. The request for the application as phrased has been withdrawn, so we'll proceed to the next item. Juniper Hills Golf Course Incorporated to consider a request from Juniper Hill Golf Course Inc. to sell alcoholic beverages beginning at 10 a.m. on Sundays pursuant to Chapter 138, Section 33B for premises located at 169 and 202 Brigham Street. So, Mr. Darling?
Thank you. Dudley Darling, General Manager and Vice President of Juniper Hill Golf Course. The town recently voted to accept or to adopt Chapter 138, Section 33B, allowing Section 12 licensees to serve alcohol starting at 10 a.m. instead of the 12 a.m. that is currently on the books. We request that our license be changed or altered to the 10 a.m. so we can have parity with businesses in other towns, and also level the playing field with the days. The other days of the week, we can serve at 8 a.m. And Sunday was 12, and we'd like to be able to serve at 10. We're not looking to pick up a lot of extra business, but better serve our current customers. I can give an example of a small party that decided to have their function on Saturday because they could have a mimosa at brunch rather than Sunday having to wait till noon. They could have something at 10 or 11 o'clock. We have customers that play golf early in the morning. They finish up their rounds and not able to have a drink at the golf course before noon, and frankly, they go to Westboro, and it is affecting our business. We just like to be able to keep our current customers there a little bit longer and let them enjoy an extension of their round, or drowning their sorrow, one of the two.
A level putting green, so to speak.
Yes, there you go.
Okay. Any questions or comments from the board? Leslie?
Well, you also mentioned, too, that you often host bridal showers, baby showers, and things like that.
Yes.
Too. It's not just golf events and so forth. So there are other things that happen at your facility.
Yes, yes.
Don?
And I do think it's very important to level the playing field where other communities around us do allow alcohol at 10 o'clock on Sundays. And we voted for it at town meeting, so it's now allowable, and we should probably pass this.
Any other questions, comments from the board? Do I have a motion?
Mr. Chair, think about that for a second. I move the board vote to approve the request from Juniper Hill Golf Course, Inc. to sell alcoholic beverages beginning at 10 a.m. on Sundays pursuant to Massachusetts General Law, Chapter 138, Section 33B, for premises located at 202 and 169 Brigham Street.
Second?
Have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor? Very good. Unanimous?
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And I didn't realize that the chairman has a different chair than the other chair. So I have to move it around. I guess I'm learning a little about government.
It's the only exercise I get now, so.
Thank you.
It's past the hour of 7:05. Public hearing to consider a petition as submitted by TC Systems, Inc. for proposed underground facilities from utility pole number 103 on Whitney Street to 11 Forbes Road. Do we have somebody? Yeah, please come up.
Good evening.
You could introduce yourself, please.
Chris Murray with TC Systems, looking to get a grand location primarily on Forbes Road at the corner of Whitney Street. About 800 feet of new conduit to serve a customer at number 11 Forbes Road.
Okay.
It's telecommunications, basic fiber optics.
How long do you expect the work to take? What duration?
Well, in the best of conditions, it'll be about 1 week.
Okay.
If we get some kind of rain events, it might drag into a second week, but I would think 10 business days. In the worst case, and we should be done.
Okay. And this would require restricted traffic through that area?
Correct.
To the work. So police details required?
Yeah, it's mostly on the side of the road.
Yeah. Yeah.
So basic, cones and that type of thing.
Very good. We do have a statement from the town engineer, having reviewed and recommending approval for this. Any questions or comments from the board? Hearing none, this is a public hearing. Does anyone in the public care to comment on this item? Hearing none. Do I have a motion? I guess I'll close the public hearing. Public hearing is closed. Motion.
Julianne, I think, has it.
No, I don't, but I can take it up. I move the board vote to approve the petition for project number 2018-58971 as submitted by TC Systems Incorporated for proposed underground facilities from utility pole number 103 on Whitney Street to 11 Forbes Road, with the condition that a police detail be present during construction.
Second?
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor? That's it. Thank you.
Have a good night.
Two.
It's now just past the hour of 7:10 PM. We have Allison Lane, Recreation Director, with Shaylin Ryan and Kiara Sylvia. In recognition of Shaylin's life-saving act of performing the Heimlich maneuver on Kiara while at school lunch.
Is it okay if I stand?
Sure.
Okay.
Sure, yeah.
Hi, everybody. I'm Allie Lane from the Recreation Department, and I have with me Shaylin and Kiara, and I'm sure you've all by now heard of the story, but I just want to give you a brief overview. Shaylin here took one of our recreation programs called the Home Alone Safety Clinic on Tuesday, April 30th, and then on Wednesday, her friend Kiara had an accident with a hot dog. And she learned the Heimlich maneuver in our Home Alone program on Tuesday night, and then used it to help her friend on Wednesday at lunch at Peasley School.
Amazing.
So in recognition of that, I would just like to give her the Emergency Cardiovascular Care Heart Saver Hero Award from the American Heart Association. Congratulations. I'm so proud of you. Great job. So to all the viewers, I just want to say Home Alone is for 9 to 11-year-olds, and it's an awesome program that basically just teaches your child the safety, and for you and the parent, because there's homework for the parent afterwards to go over with your children, so you feel comfortable and they feel comfortable being home by themselves.
Nice.
It's a really cool program.
Don't go away, girls.
Oh, hold on.
Does the board have any questions or comments? Leslie?
First of all, congratulations and to both of you. And I think this is a classic case of you never think it's going to happen to you. You take a class, whether it's the Heimlich maneuver or CPR or something like that, and you hope it doesn't happen to you, but it does happen. And I think it's wonderful. I think that was one of those meant to be moments that you took that class and you were able to save your friend, and you're both standing there today together, looking happy, and everyone's very proud of both of you.
Yes.
So congratulations. I think that's wonderful. We're very proud of you as well.
Leslie, would you, we do have a certificate of appreciation and congratulations.
Here, I'll hold this one for you.
Leslie, could you read, if you
Yes.
wouldn't mind reading, yeah?
Absolutely. The Town of Northborough, Massachusetts Certificate of Appreciation. The Board of Selectmen of the Town of Northborough, on behalf of the citizens of Northborough, awards this Certificate of Appreciation to Shaylin Ryan. On April 30th, 2019, Shaylin Ryan took part in a program offered by the Northborough Recreation Department called Home Alone Safety, a class offered through UMass Memorial. The very next day, Shaylin's newfound knowledge was put to the test at a critical time when her best friend, Kiara Sylvia, started choking during school lunch at the Marguerite Peasley Elementary School. Shaylin's life-saving act of performing the Heimlich maneuver on Kiara is a true testament to her heroism, skill, and bravery. Congratulations on your life-saving efforts and for unknowingly raising awareness to the importance of safety education. Your calm demeanor, swift action, courage, and resolve, without a doubt, saved Kiara's life that day. Dated at Northborough, Massachusetts, this 20th day of May, 2019. Thank you very much. We're very proud of you. Keep doing good things in your life. Okay. Shake hands with you as well. Congratulations to you. You have a wonderful friend.
Ashley, could you take a tour through the, come right around and down the line to shake hands, please?
Here.
Yeah.
Want me to hold that for you, honey, while you go shake hands?
Are you still eating hot dogs?
Good summer.
Congratulations again.
Well done, girls.
Yes. Very well done. Yep, yep. We have lots of other items that are very interesting remaining on the agenda, so I'm sure if you want to stay and watch.
But it is past bedtime. We're gonna close that.
It's past the hour of 7:15. Allison Lane, Recreation Director. Acceptance of funds donated by Stephen and Arlene Marshall for the acquisition and installation of permanent outdoor musical instruments at Ellsworth McAfee Park in memory of their son, Stephen.
Thank you. I feel like it's been a while since I've been in front of you. Thanks for having me. And congratulations, Leslie, on your win.
Thank you very much.
I just wanted to have everybody here today to accept the gift from Steve and Arlene Marshall, who, thank you for coming tonight. I appreciate you being here. They are making a generous donation to the Recreation Department and the Parks Department. In your packets, you'll see some pictures of some outdoor musical notes that we're going to be putting at Ellsworth McAfee. I'm sure many of you are aware of the park, and just to give you an idea, where the playground is and the walking track, we're going to be putting it, the playground is here, the walking, we're going to be putting it right after it towards the walking track so that you can still reach them. It's wheelchair accessible through the walking track, so that will be right by the playground where the kids all play. We're going to have the three, I have them in picture, but a lot of these you can see, a good example, if you go to the Ecotarium, they have these over there too, and the kids love them. It's just a wonderful donation. We're very, very excited about it. I believe they've already been delivered, Scott, yep. So the DPW will be installing them. We just need you to approve their donation tonight, please.
Very good. Thank you. Comments from the board? Leslie?
First of all, Steve and Arlene, thank you very much for being here, and sorry for your loss, but I think that this is a wonderful tribute to your son. It's beautiful looking. I love the design of these. I think the placement sounds great. And they look like a low-maintenance type of thing that will weather all sorts of, all the seasons.
Need replacement occasionally.
Okay.
Just the mallets.
Just the mallets.
These are
Supposedly.
designed for outdoor.
Yes, yes. It's quite beautiful, and we really can't tell you how much we appreciate this. It's a wonderful addition to that park. Thank you.
Yep. Dawn?
Just like to thank you. It's so thoughtful of you to contribute back to the community in your son's name, so it's a generous contribution. Thank you so much.
Tim?
And again, just thank you. I just wanted to also state that I've used one of these at the DeCorvida Museum in Lincoln, and they are not just for kids. They are a lot of fun to watch your kids go out and bang around on them and then picking up a hammer and banging away yourself. So they are a lot of fun. Thank you very much. I'm sure the kids will get a lot of joy out of them for a number of years. Thank you.
Great. Julie?
Thank you very much. Music is a wonderful gift.
Steve and Arlene, we just really appreciate this. It's going to be a wonderful addition to the park. As Tim was just mentioning, I expect to be down there myself once in a while, making some music, and I think it's just going to just add a lot to the whole character of the place. So very sorry for your loss, and we very much appreciate this donation in Stephen's memory.
I just want to say that we felt we wanted to do this, and we're very appreciative that you accepted, because Chris really loved growing up in Northborough. He wanted to have his family here, and we just wanted a joyful way for him to be remembered in this town. And we hope to go there and see smiles on kids and grown-up faces, you know, for many years.
Yes, I have no doubt that will be the case. So,
The proposed location, I think, is what I would call ideal the playground, there's like a small triangle of lawn just to the right of the playground in between the forest behind and the walking track. And this will fit in there just perfectly, right next to the playground, so that you can walk along the track and just make a little stop and sing
Hit
a few notes. While your kids they can play on the slides and then just zip over and bang a few other notes and go back to the slides. I mean, it's like, I couldn't put it any better. And let me continue.
Sure.
You're thanking us for giving it. I feel like it's actually, we call Steve Chris. That was his middle name. And since I'm Steve also, I insist on calling him Chris. He insists on staying with Steve. Anyway, so I really, the way I feel like I'm doing this is I'm doing this as his proxy, that he's putting this here, because he really wanted to leave a mark behind in Northborough. He loved the place so much. So this is what he's doing. He's leaving his mark in these musical instruments to continue the next future generations. So that's all I can say.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It's a beautiful gesture. We really do appreciate it. Leslie?
Quick question, I don't know if this has come up or whether this is something that you'd like. Is there any kind of way that something will be inscribed?
We're going to have a dedication once it's put in, and we'll have a plaque.
Okay. Good. Okay. That's wonderful, wonderful legacy.
We'll definitely let the board know when that will be.
Okay.
Any further questions or comments? Do I have a motion?
Mr. Chair, I move the board vote to accept funds donated by the Marshall family for the acquisition and installation of outdoor musical instruments at Ellsworth McAfee Park pursuant to Massachusetts General Law, Chapter 44, Section 53A, and to further allow expenditure of such funds to be made by the Department of Public Works.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor? Thank you very much. We look forward to seeing it.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Arlene. Thank you. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ally.
Thank you.
Now past the hour of 7:20 PM, we have Chet's Diner Incorporated to consider a request from Chet's Diner to sell alcoholic beverages beginning at 10 a.m. on Sundays pursuant to Chapter 138, Section 33B, for premises located at 191 Main Street.
Hi, I'm Jessica Fidrich, owner-operator of Chet's Diner. I'm here today to ask you and present to you, I have some amazing opportunities to open my business privately for brunches, birthday parties. I actually am hosting a surprise retirement party in a couple of weeks for Mr. Hanson, but we can't tell, on an afternoon, so it's super exciting. And I also am going to be hosting an Algonquin Regional High School 50th reunion, which is totally cool. And I'm here to ask if I could serve alcohol at 10 a.m. on Sundays.
Very good. Questions, comments from the board? Dawn?
Jessica, do you see this as something that you'll be doing every Sunday or just occasionally?
So I have actually been approached by 3 people in the past month to host Sunday private parties, such as the Model A Club coming in for a brunch, such as Algonquin. I actually had another person for a bar mitzvah, I was just at the baseball game the other night, and I said absolutely, whatever. And you know, and I want to be able to do what I can do for all the people and generate more money for myself, my business, and obviously my family, and use my license to its ability. So I plan to be advertising this. I have somebody that's going to be helping me create a brunch menu, which is a really big opportunity. I've already started that. So I can be advertising it more. Obviously, we wouldn't advertise it unless I have the accessibility of having the Bloody Marys, the mimosas and things like that.
Any other questions? Do I have a motion?
Mr. Chair, I move the board vote to approve the request from Chet's Diner, Inc. to sell alcoholic beverages beginning at 10 a.m. on Sundays pursuant to Massachusetts General Law, Chapter 138, Section 33B, for premises located at 191 Main Street.
Second?
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor?
I thank you very much. And this was, girls, I am so proud of you. Oh, my goodness. You were the talk of the diner. You're not gonna believe this. I said, I believe it.
This brings us to reports. Julianne?
So the first thing I'd like to comment on is to thank all of the different departments and people who work in this town hall and the committees and commissions that made town meeting so successful. I think it was a very nice two-day event, and same goes for the town election. It was well organized, and I think people came with a lot of energy. So thank you, everyone, for all of your efforts. And also to the people who came to town meeting and the election. I have to say thank you to the Community Affairs Committee for town cleanup. I apologize, I wasn't around that day, but that event sent such a good message about taking care of our town. Also, thanks to the Recycling Commission and DPW and Fred Litchfield for a Take It or Leave It Day. This is a great way to recycle our unwanted things. And congratulations to Leslie for winning the election and all of the people who ran, opposed or unopposed. Look forward to working with you, continuing to work with you. And I'd also like to thank the people who ran. You deserve a lot of credit for your efforts in talking about issues that you care about. And my last bit of business is to go back a few months to when we talked about video recording meetings. As I recall, we ended with asking for some numbers, some costs, and I think it's time, now that we're done with town meeting, to revisit that issue. Now, I understand we can't discuss it tonight because it wasn't on the agenda, but maybe next meeting, if we could have some costs and, appropriately put it on the agenda, I'd appreciate that.
Okay. As we discussed at that meeting, it's somewhat subject to the funding through the cable access fees, and the cable subscriber headcount has been declining, so we're going through some contract renegotiation.
Yes.
And so we'll wait for the contract renegotiation to finalize to understand where we are financially, to see what we can do in that regard.
Okay. So we have to wait a few months.
I think we need to wait at least until the contract is settled to understand where we are on a financial basis for that
So
funding at revenue source.
through the chair. So we're in negotiations with Verizon and Charter right now for cable renewals. Part of that is the support for our PEG access in terms of the funding and the terms and conditions of that. So that's what's in negotiation right now. That would determine, once that's set, contracts are typically 5 years. They used to be 10 years. And then because the industry is evolving so quickly, the operators are looking for 5 years contracts instead of 10-year contracts. But anyway, once it gets settled, we'll have at least the terms and conditions of the revenue stream for the next 5 years. And then we can make some decisions based on that.
Okay. I understand. Thank you. That's my report.
Thank you. Leslie?
Okay, I also wanted to thank Dawn for your work as chair this past year.
Thank you.
You did a great job. And Jason as vice chair, also wonderful job with that. I want to also thank all the residents who did come to vote at the middle school. I heard nothing but positive feedback about the middle school. I don't think I heard anything negative. I sat and thought about it for a couple of minutes and don't remember anybody saying anything strange, or that it was inconvenient, or there wasn't enough parking, or it was too busy, or too loud, or anything like that. It was very nicely set up. I know that Andy had placards made, so it was very clear when you went in on the right side which precinct was which. If you didn't have to remember your number, but it had your school name very clearly noted above. It was just very, very nicely organized, very nicely done. And I do want to thank everyone who voted. I'm happy to be back. I enjoy doing this very much, and I really appreciate everyone's vote. So I do want to thank then Andy Dowd and Assistant Town Clerk Karen Wilbur, as well as the Police Department and our many poll workers, including Pat Griffin. Thank you very much. I don't think there are any other poll workers here, but are you the
There's
only
one
one?
behind the,
Oh, and Terry Crane. Excellent job. Thank you very, very much for that. We really appreciate that. That's a lot of work and a long day. Yes. I also wanted to thank the fire department and the police department for their monthly reports. One thing I did want to note is that, first of all, the statistics are fantastic in these. They're really wonderful to look at the breakout and the numbers and all the different things that go on in both of the departments. And I just want to make a note on the fire report about your work at the Boston Marathon. If I could just read this quick paragraph. We sent our gator, an ambulance, and our command vehicle to assist in Hopkinton with the Boston Marathon. Our personnel were assigned to the Runners Village to address any possible problems that may occur there. Chief Parenti participated as a member of the EMS Operations Command Team who were on standby in the event of any mass casualty incident. So it's great that you all are involved with that.
Okay, we weren't needed.
Yes, yes, but it's nice knowing you're there. And as Julianne mentioned, town meeting, I think, went great. I do thank everyone for attending as well. It ran very smoothly, and everyone was very prepared. Your point with all the different town departments coming so prepared is integral. All the presentations were very nicely done. And also thanks to the Community Affairs Committee for the town cleanup. They do a wonderful job. They had a breakfast instead of a post-cleanup lunch, which actually I think makes a lot of sense, because people are cleaning over the weekend. For example, I did mine on Sunday. So, you know, if I'm just leaving with the gloves and the bags, I'm not necessarily going to be cleaning and then coming back for lunch. So it made sense, I think, to have coffee, donuts, all things. I think those things were donated, by the way, to Wegmans, I think. So that was very, very nicely done by them. And also they collected donations for the Northborough Food Pantry, which I think is a great, that's a lot of things I think that they collected for that. So I want to thank them as well. So that is my report.
thank you, Leslie. Tim?
I also wanted to thank Dawn for her work in the past years as chair, and also thank her for all the work that she's done on the new fire station committee and having that passed during the town election. So thank you for all the work and effort that you've put into hopefully making that new fire station a reality. So
Thank you.
thank you very much for that. And just to echo what Leslie and Julianne have already said, thank everybody for coming out to town meeting over the course of the 2 nights that we had. It was good that to see people out and participating, which is always encouraging. And thank everybody for their work on the transition to Melican for the election. I did have a brief email exchange with Chief Liver about the traffic and the parking. And one thing that came to mind about that, this was for the town election, and if there's any preparation that we need to take for November 2020. If we only had, 1,200 or 1,300 people coming out to vote, if we're going to have 7,000, 8,000, 9,000 people coming out to vote on that day. I'm sure you will. And I also wanted to thank the police and fire department for their monthly report. We did have a tragic incident in town, and I wanted to thank the police and fire department from everything I've read, handling that with the utmost professionalism. That is a situation that I cannot possibly imagine walking into with just the unknown aspect to it and then what transpired. So thank you. And I also would like to send my condolences out to the family. That is it's just a heartbreaking situation. And lastly, I just wanted to give a quick update on the new signs for Davis Street. Those look like they're coming out mid-June, somewhere along those lines. So I know a couple people have asked me about those, so I just wanted to give a quick update on that. That ends my report. Thank you.
Thanks, Tim. Don?
You know, I piggyback on the election and town meeting and whatever. So it was all good and everything went well, and just thanks to everybody that made those things happen. I'd like to congratulate Leslie.
Thank you.
So happy to have you back.
I appreciate that.
Well, you've worked very hard on this board, and you're an asset to the community. So,
Thank you very
and
much.
I'd like to bring attention to Officer Phil Martin. I was at the bank today, and Officer Martin was just getting into his car, and there were a couple of children with their parents there. And all of a sudden, I saw the tailgate in the car come up, and he's got stickers, and he's giving stickers out. And then the next thing I know, they're in the cruiser, just kind of like, and they were so excited. And it was nice to see the input that he just goes. Really.
Excellent.
So he's a special officer. And Memorial Day, just want to remind everybody that the parade is at noontime, and that will be Monday. So that concludes my report.
Thank you, Don. I've got a lot of stuff. I'll begin with town meeting and town election. Yes, certainly echoing the comments here. I think everything went very smoothly, very professional, very well organized. I'm just very happy to see the people who came out both to town meeting and to the polls. Just appreciate all the efforts of Andy Dowd, Town Clerk, Karen Wilbur, Assistant Town Clerk, all of the election workers and staff, municipal staff and school staff who got everything set up, public safety, taking care of the traffic around there and making sure that the school itself was secure throughout the voting process. So very well done. I congratulate Leslie on her return to the Board of Selectmen.
Thank you very much.
And also the other candidates who were elected and those who chose to run. We do appreciate their interest in serving the town, and it does invite additional discussions about what we can or should be doing. So appreciate their input. I also want to thank the American Legion, Post 234, and the organizers of Candidate Night. That's not something that we've had very consistently over the last several years. I think it's certainly very helpful to get in that venue for people to be able to hear the candidates, understand their positions, and it makes for a more informed discussion and more informed vote. So appreciate that as well. The fire station, I want to thank Dawn Rand for her work on the fire station committee, and also all the members of the fire station building committee, as well as Chief Parenti, Chief Liver, and the people who contributed to that project to get us to this point thus far. I want to thank the voters at town meeting and on the town ballot who voted their approval of this project to go forward. With that funding, we'll be able to do the acquisition of the real estate in the area, and also to proceed with architectural design, which over the coming year will be completed, will be bid out, and then hopefully by next year's town meeting, we'll be coming forward for construction funding with a very firm bid in hand to understand exactly what it's going to cost. So
That's the plan.
it's an excellent project, and certainly very happy for all the support for it thus far. I was fortunate once again to volunteer for the Algonquin Junior Prom post-prom party at New England Sports Center as an overnight volunteer. The attendees of the junior prom sign up in advance. After the prom, they return to the high school where they're checked in, put on buses, and then conveyed to New England Sports Center, where they arrive. There's food, refreshments, a lot of activities, including a mechanical bull, I think an inflatable obstacle course. We have one of the ice rinks open where they can put on these really crappy figure skates and go out onto the ice, hopefully not hurting anyone as they do it. It's just an excellent, excellent program. Pat Griffin, who's here in the audience, has been a volunteer for it for many years. And it's just an excellent way to provide a post-prom event for the kids that's enjoyable for them, safe for them, and probably some peace of mind for their parents who are waiting at home. That overnight portion of it goes from midnight to 5 a.m. They're locked into the facility. So it's certainly very worthwhile. It's something that's been going on for a number of years, and I particularly want to thank Sue Distler, who is the primary organizer of it. She's been doing this for years. She no longer has children in the school system, hasn't for a while, And she just keeps coming back year after year to help organize this and make it happen. So certainly appreciate her efforts and look forward to doing it in the future, and I hope we can flush out a few more volunteers in future years. So, Dawn has mentioned Memorial Day starts at noon on Monday. As usual, we'll be going throughout the visit each of the monuments in town, ending at Howard Street Cemetery. So please join us for that observance. Last Thursday, I was fortunate also to attend Northborough Southborough Parent Advisory Committee for Special Education. They had an awards night, Go the Distance Awards, that acknowledges the efforts of staff members in all of the schools, Northborough, Southborough, plus some community members. So it's just a very appropriate acknowledgement for all of the commitment and care these people provide in educational opportunities for people with special needs or certain learning disabilities. And it was emceed by brothers Andrew and Ryan Roberts, who are students in the schools. And we had some musical selections performed by the Unified Singing Club at Algonquin, which is just an excellent night. Just wanted to congratulate those people and thank them for all the work that they do. And finally, last but not least, the Massachusetts Municipal Association, in conjunction with Suffolk University, has offered their first Municipal Finance Management Seminar, and the first class graduated on March 29th. I just wanted to make mention that we have a photo op here for Town Administrator John Codere, who is the instructor and presenter for best practices in municipal finance and budgeting. Basically teaching to these people all the things that he's been teaching to us for the past 10 years. So certainly very worthwhile, and certainly a benefit to the community at large to kind of spread the word and get these practices out there. And John, we thank you for your efforts in working through MMA and trying to mold young minds with the right practices in municipal finance. So thank you.
Thank you.
And that concludes my report. John?
We have one thing that you were asked if you would make that announcement.
I'd be happy to. The Northborough Garden Club will have a plant sale on Saturday, June 1st from 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. at Ellsworth McAfee Park, Route 135. If you have any questions or want more information, please go to www.northboroughgardenclub.com. That's Northborough with an O-U-G-H on the end. Happy to report that, and I wish them a very successful plant sale. So.
Good, I'm sure they appreciate that.
Yep.
I just have one thing this evening. I regret to inform you that we did get a resignation last week from the Planning Board Chair, Teresa Capabianco. She has decided to resign from the Planning Board to pursue some other things. And so in order for that replacement to take place, to the charter, it calls for a joint meeting between the Planning Board and the Board of Selectmen. So with the board's understanding tonight, it would be our intention to advertise the position, let it run, and whether or not, depending on the turnout, the idea would be to hold interviews at your next meeting in June. So that would give it about 4 weeks. The interviews, and again, this is based in the charter, the interviews would be done at a joint meeting here with the board and the planning board. The interviews would take place right here, and then a selection would be made. That is a temporary appointment. It just goes through until the next election, which is May 12th of next year. So it fills that term until the next election, at which point, as you saw similarly to the high school, that if that person's interested in continuing, they would run, as would anybody else who'd be interested in running at that point in time. So unless the board has any other thoughts on that, it would be our intention to get it advertised immediately and to proceed along that path.
Okay, thank you.
All right.
I just say that Teresa's very long-serving and capable and knowledgeable person on the committee.
8 members.
So
I'm sorry, 8 years
8
on the
years, yeah.
on the committee. So
it's a loss. Opportunity. opportunity for somebody, so. Next is public comments. Anyone? Yes, Carrie?
Carrie Von Beck, 16 Hemlock Drive. I just wanted to relay some information that I received last week at a regional planning board meeting, CMRPC. There are some of our counterparts there from Berlin, and they commented that at SA Farms, the DEP was there testing, and they'd been as far as they could, as deep and wide as they could drill. There was just all sorts of contamination, all sorts of metals, nickel, arsenic. Commented that the trees by the stream there sucking up water were just dying at this point. I realize I'm sure you can't comment, and I just wanted to at least relay that. And then perhaps find out, as a resident, how do I stay on top of updates as it relates to that situation, just so that I know, so when I'm out talking to people, I don't know those things. So how would I, as a resident, find out those types of...
John, would you care to-
Yeah, sure. First of all, with regard to the issues at SA Farms, particularly with regard to the brook and any contamination there, that's been, has been under the jurisdiction and it's under the review of Mass DEP. So Mass DEP actually has issued a report. That report is public. You're welcome to see it. The issue there is not that there are contaminants buried there. The issue is that the stone that was brought in has there's an acidic component to it, and when water leaches through, this is the fill that was brought in, it acidifies the water, and that is what's leaching into the brook that's causing the issue. Now, DEP is aware of that, and I'm not going to speak for them. That's their issue that they're dealing with. But it's something that they've been reviewing with the owner as well as the source of the stone that was brought in. So that's an ongoing matter that DEP is handling. And if anybody has any questions specifically about that, I'd suggest that you contact DEP directly to hear what they have to say. Again, I'm not in a position to comment for them. But this is not anything new. This is not new news. But DEP is the one who would be commenting, so.
Great, thank you.
Any other public comment? Okay, hearing none. Next item, new business, performance evaluation of town administrator. I'd like to turn this over to Don Rand, who was chairing the committee when the evaluation was conducted.
And we did an evaluation on John Kadia, and we completed it before the election because of the fact that we didn't know if there'd be turnover or whatever, so it seemed to be the appropriate time to do an evaluation. So I'd just like to read the press release to you. The Board of Selectmen has completed the evaluation of the performance of the town administrator, John W. Kadia, for the past year. The town administrator received an overall rating of 5 out of a possible 5, with 4 being exceeds job standards and a 5 being outstanding. 1 board member did not provide an overall rating. The board evaluated the town administrator in 5 main categories, including financial management, personnel management, board support, relations, personal characteristics, and communication. In the evaluation category of financial management, which includes development and implementation of the capital and operating budgets, as well as the long-range financial planning, the town administrator received an overall rating of 4.7. Under personnel management, the town administrator received an overall rating of 4.7 with regard to leadership, effective collective bargaining, team building, employee motivation, and the ability to guide individuals or groups toward effective task accomplishment. The overall ratings for board support, personal characteristics, and communication were 4.6, 4.6, and 4.8 respectively. I feel John is a town administrator that the town of Northborough is lucky to have. He's hardworking, diligent, honest, and knowledgeable. Northborough is a well-run town because of his efforts. So that is our press release, and that were our compiled evaluation scores.
Okay. Thank you, Don. Next item is renewal of audit contract. This is the contract for the services provided by Bill Frere. John,
Sure.
can you take us through that?
Sure, I'd be happy to. Just before that, I just want to thank the board for all your support and assistance throughout the year. Obviously, this is a team effort, and the success of the town and our finances and everything that we've accomplished is a team effort. I just want to make sure that we acknowledge that, as well as the staff, the department heads, and the personnel that make everything that we do possible on a day-to-day basis. They make me look good. Hopefully, we collectively make you look good, and the community thinks we do a good job. But I just want to acknowledge all the support of the board, but as well as the staff that makes that all possible. So thank you very much for those comments. In terms of the audit, under the charter, one of the things the board's responsible for is ensuring that an independent audit takes place on an annual basis. What's in the packet here is a proposal from Bill Frere, our CPA, to provide auditing services for fiscal years 19 through 21. The proposal is a 3% annual fee increase, which is reasonable. One of the things that we have struggled with, if you tried to actually read the financial statements, years ago, they were more informative than they are now. With GASB 75, which is dealing with phasing in the OPEB, the other post-employment benefit liabilities, they've really expanded the audit reporting by 20 or 30 pages. Unfortunately, the way they did it, I don't know that to the layperson, it really helps to further your understanding of the financial circumstances of the town. However, the management letter and certainly the budget to actual analysis is good, and I think Bill does a good job when he comes in and is able to be at your disposal to answer any questions. He gives you a very fair, objective take on what we're doing, the effectiveness of your policies, the financial condition of the town, and a little bit of what we do, but his just annual snapshot of where he sees things trending. So that's all very good and positive. So what's being asked tonight, with the board's authorization, I'd be happy to execute a contract with Bill for the next 3 years, unless anybody has any questions.
Leslie?
I think Bill does a great job. I've never heard anything negative about it, any of his reporting, any of his written documents. He provides, using the word snapshot, to us in the executive summary. He is a very knowledgeable, he's just very nice to work with. He comes to our meetings, he knows who we are, he's very familiar with the town by now, he's very up on what he needs to know, obviously, in order to do his work. And I just think he's extremely thorough and diligent, and I see no reason not to renew that.
Tim?
How long has the town been working with Bill? And have we ever looked at other firms to do the work? I just know sometimes it benefits to have even another auditing firm come in once every 10 years just to kind of look at the auditor and make sure the auditors.
Yeah, so Bill's been the auditor for as long as I've been here. I think this is probably, I hope I'm not spoiling anything out there publicly for Bill Frere, but this is probably the last contract. I think Bill's getting ready to wind down. So if this is executed, we're probably going to be out in the market for a new auditor at the end of this cycle. He's been, like many people, talking about retiring for a while, but when he sent this in, he said, I think this is probably going to be his last contract. So there's about 4 or 5 firms that do municipal auditing. You want to be careful. Certainly there's no opposition to changing auditors, but it's something that we would want to do with a little bit of foresight and notice, because it does require a lot of staff time to ramp up to a new auditor, to set in the systems and the controls, to learn the towns and the code of accounts. So that actually causes a lot of administrative costs for us to shift. But it's certainly not insurmountable, but it would be something that we'd want a little bit of a notice on, that we were going to do something like that. But I think this is probably going to be your last contract, and we're going to be having, the next time around, we're going to be having this conversation about who are we going to find. So,
Okay.
yeah.
All right, great. Thank you.
there's no further comment, do I have a motion?
Mr. Chair, I move the board vote to renew the contract for audit services with Bill Frere, CPA, for fiscal years 2019 to 2021, and to authorize the town administrator to execute the contract on behalf of the board.
Second?
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor? And next item, execution of cemetery deeds, 1073, 1074, 1075, 1076, and 1077. Do I have a motion?
Mr. Chair, I move the board vote to execute cemetery deeds 1073, 1074, 1075, 1076, and 1077.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor? Great. And any other business?
We have a need for a brief executive session this evening for collective bargaining and litigation.
Okay. So this will be executive session pursuant to Massachusetts General Laws, Chapter 38, Section 21, Subsection 3, due to the chair's determination that a discussion regarding the following matters in an open meeting may have a detrimental effect on the position of the board. Collective bargaining, approval of memorandum of agreement with dispatchers union, and patrol officer arbitration and contract negotiations, and litigation relating to SA Farms. Do I hear a motion?
Mr. Chair, I move the board vote to enter into executive session pursuant to Massachusetts General Laws, Chapter 38, Section 21, Subsection 3, collective bargaining, approval of MOA with dispatchers union, patrol officer arbitration and contract negotiations, and litigation, SA Farms update, due to the chair's determination that a discussion regarding these matters in an open meeting may have a detrimental effect on the position of the board.
Second.
Moved and seconded. This is a voice call. Julianne? Leslie?
Aye.
Tim?
Aye.
Don?
Aye.
Aye. We will return from executive session only to adjourn open session. Thank you all very much.